Number 54, during the summer you give 1 hour saxophone lessons to 20 students each week. Use the information in the advertisement, okay? Beginner lessons are $20 an hour. Advanced lessons are $35 per hour. Part A, write an equation that gives your weekly earnings, Y, in dollars as a function of the number of X beginning students that you teach. So whenever they say as a function of, that's like a fancy terminology for saying equals. So we're going to have Y equals the amount of money I make is, and we have to come up with an expression for it. Okay. Well, obviously you know you get $20 per hour times the number of beginners, which they're calling X. Okay, so 20 times X. The question then becomes, well, don't I need a variable for how many advanced students I have? Well, we're going to come up with an expression for that with the fact that you teach. It says exactly 20 students each week. So, you know, if you were to teach, let's call your beginners and your advanced. If you don't teach any beginners, you know you teach 20 advanced. If you teach 2 beginners, you know you teach 18 advanced because the sum's always 20 students. If you teach 20 beginners, well, then you don't have any advanced. So the question becomes, well, what if you have X beginners? How do you figure out how many advanced students you have? Well, remember, you always have to add up to 20. So the number of advanced students left after X beginners would be 20 total students minus however many beginners. That'll leave me with how many students are going to be advanced. So now we can come up with our function. We're going to say Y, the total amount of dollars I'm going to make. Well, I'm going to make $20 per hour times the number of beginning students I have, plus I'm making $35 times the number of advanced students I have. And if I've got X beginners, right here we said we've got 20 minus X advanced students. 20 minus X. Using distributive property, we get 20X plus 35 times 20 is going to be 700. And 35 times negative X, or negative 1X, would be negative 35X's, combining like terms. 20X's minus 35X's is negative 15X plus the 700, which can't combine variables with constant terms. So here's part A. Part B said, find your weekly earnings if 15 of your students are beginners. So we can just plug and chug then. We can say, remember, X is the number of beginning students. So negative 15, if 15 of them are beginners, we'll take times 15 plus 700. This is negative 225 plus 700. I think our earnings would be, let's see, 700 minus 225. 700 minus 200 would be 500. Minus another 25 would be 475. Now, if you're in a bind, you didn't come up with that expression, you know, fight till the end here. You could also say, well, I'm making 15 beginners times $20, plus that leaves 5 advanced students at $35 an hour. And I'm going to guess if you take this, which is 300, and this, which is going to be 175, and you combine them, look at, you get the same thing. But it's nice to have a variable expression like this, negative 15x plus 700, because then you could just quick plug whatever the number of beginners is and not have to go through all this.